Hello everyone. If you go back on this channel, type in Pompey Blue Graham Short, about 30 videos ago, 18 months ago, you'll see a video where I met Graham Short at the Cheltenham Festival. He's a micro artist who did engraving of the new plastic £5 notes when they came in, and I've followed him since then. And it just so happened he did a piece called the Cheltenham Nail. And it was something that looked a little like this. The size of a nail, a horseshoe nail, and it had all the winners of the Gold Cup, at that point up to A Plus Tard. And then he decided to do it for the Cheltenham Centenary, and that would include, at the time, the 99th winner, Galopin Des Champs, and then he was hoping on the 100th year when he was there that Galopin would win his second Gold Cup, so he didn't have to redo the nail. Galopin did win. It was a great moment. But the highlight for me was getting this £10 note gifted to me. And if you can see there, just next to the 10, there is a horse and jockey symbol. Graham engraves in a variety of styles, a variety of sizes. But he gifted me this piece because we just hit it off and he was a legend. It was the highlight of Cheltenham 100 for me. Well, since then, I've followed Graham on social media. And the other day, he mentioned that he's going to be in a couple more horse racing magazines, and he's updated the Cheltenham Nail. To give you an idea, this is what the exact Cheltenham Nail would look like. So that piece in the book was on something the size of this. How incredible is that? But the piece that Graham originally messaged me about was this. He said that when he practices, does like a final draft, checks the layout, checks the spelling, etc., he usually uses a brass window lock. And he said he can't think of anyone better than me to give it to. It would probably sit on his shelf, etc., or he'd polish it and start again. And this is what he said I could have. Now, that looks like I've just picked it up and left a thumbprint. That is not a thumbprint. That is now, all the way up to the 101st winner, I know the way you're thinking, engraved here. Now, I'm going to add another piece on the video in a minute where I can zoom in and actually show you this, to show you exactly what I mean. But just bear in mind, all of that section there gets shrunken down again onto this for the actual Cheltenham Nail. This is like a final draft, a prototype, whatever you want to call it. I will never afford a piece of Graham's actual work. So for me, this is amazing to even have. I'm so happy. And in the next section of the video, I'm going to zoom in and show you exactly what it looks like. I just want Graham to know how thankful I am to have this. And at the same time, he sent this through, which is one of the other nails he was selling at the time. They were going to be £500 framed up. And my one has the Gold Cup on here, the little trophy with the horse heads, and down this side, in more common sized engraving size, I would say, 2007, 2009 Kauto Star. He was my favourite winner of all time. I'd never managed to fund one of these nails. Graham gifted me this, and I said I could never pick what horse I wanted on my nail out of all the winners, so this has them all on. It's perfect. He said, Stu, I'll give you a nail as well. So check the next section of the video, and I will show you just how incredible this all is. Again, you've seen the piece of the brass window lock in my hand. This gives you an example. If you zoom in from what looks like a thumbprint, you see hopefully what you kind of saw on camera earlier. Then if you zoom in again, you get this. Can you read that? Again, let me zoom in now. And this is that literally, look, from that, it has all this. Cheltenham Gold Cup winners. And then I can rattle these off. If you don't know your horses, you might not know the pronunciation of like a Galopin, but I know the way you're thinking. Galopin Des Champs, A Plus Tard, Manila Indo, Album Photo, Native River, Size and John, Don Cossack, Coneygree, Lord Windermere, Bob's Worth, Synchronised, Long Run, Imperial Commander, Kauto Star, Denman, the best two, War of Attrition, Kicking King, Best Mate, Looks Like Trouble, Seymour Business, Cool Dawn. it goes on and on and on. There, centre of the screen, Arkle, probably the greatest jump horse of all time. Golden Miller there, like I was saying, won 5 Gold Cups, untouchable record. It's honestly outstanding that I have this piece. I cannot believe I have it. And it's going nowhere. Then there's also the nail, which obviously all of that brass window lock writing fits onto the top of this in the actual final piece. But you can see top says Cheltenham, 100 years. There's the actual Gold Cup trophy with the horse heads, and it's got Gold Cup at the bottom. It gives you an idea of like the size, like all of that writing on the brass, the thumbprint looking bit, he's done again smaller onto the head of that nail. Like, it's extraordinary. And then here, it's 2007 and 2009 Quarto Star. As you can see, that's readable to the naked eye. The brass stuff definitely isn't readable to the naked eye. And then when it gets down to this size, it's ridiculous. I don't think there are any lasers in the world that could even do this. So to think a man of almost 80, through medical means and microscopes, is doing this by hand, he is literally, he is the only person on the planet who does this. And even if someone else said, oh, I could probably do it, I'm a good engraver, I'll do trophies, blah, blah, blah. Would you want to sit there every night at midnight, slowing down your heart, taking injections to your eyelids to do this? There's no one else on this planet who's doing this, and this is why these items are so important to me to have. Like I say, one final time, I cannot believe he gifted me the note. I cannot believe this was offered to me, and then after that he even gave me the nail. Graham is a legend. Like, he is a rock star to me. Like, look at that. Each one of these pieces of writing, it's not as small as the like human blood cell or the like 10 microns. It's probably a bit bigger than that, but I don't have 100 grand to buy one of the smaller pieces. This was a gift from someone who knows that I love horse racing, and I just can't believe it. I hope that I can be at Cheltenham again and he's there and I can meet him again. I hope that one day he does one of his talks down in Portsmouth, and even if it's for the Women's Institute, like, get me in. I just want to come and say hello again, because I want to shake his hand and just be like, thank you in person. This video, the private messages I sent, nothing can do justice to how grateful I am. I'm going to end the video there. In fact, I'm going to take a screenshot of that, and that's going to be the thumbnail to the video. Thank you again, Graham. Thank you to anyone who watched. I know this isn't going to get many views, but for me, this is the best thing I've had in a very long time, and the best item I have, period, I think. So thanks for watching. If anyone found this interesting, comments, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to see what people think if you read up on them a little bit more. And yeah, if you're ever in the market for a romantic gift for a wife or something or that person, what do you buy for them, and you happen to be a millionaire, hit Graham up and he'll make you something incredible, because it's just what he does. Honestly, he's known as the hands of a genius, and to me, he really is a genius. See you later. Goodbye. I'll just scroll through this a little bit. If you just type in Graham Short micro artist, you'll see other details, but this is a piece written a few years ago. It says some of his clients include Ronnie Barker, Stephen Fry, Uri Geller, Kim Kardashian. This is literally the eye of a needle, and there's a little speck of gold in it, and that's a nativity scene on there. You can pause this as you go and read through this. I think this is one of the best articles of Graham. This lettering measures just 6 microns, 6/1000ths of a millimetre. That's the size of a red human blood cell. A human hair is about 100 microns thick. So a lot of his engravings are the size of a human blood cell, or like a fifth, half the size, like thickness of a piece of a human hair. It's insane. It talks about the dot versions that he does that are on my other video. It talks about the Jane Austen £5 notes that went into circulation. It says about some of his celebrity clients there. That's the dot version that I was saying, rather than the engraved horse that I've got. It tells you his backstory, working for Buckingham Palace and stuff. It tells you about his Lord's Prayer piece that took him 15 years to make. It was the first bit he displayed. That nativity scene took 40 hours to make. Like, it's just insane. It talks about the Botox and stuff there. He also takes potassium, magnesium, and beta blockers, as well as the eye injections. My heart rate drops quickly to around 20 beats a minute. I try to work between heartbeats. It's just mad. Stephen Fry piece that he did for him with a quote. As I say, this is a good article, but if you just type in Graham Short micro artist, you'll find many more pictures and articles. There's my YouTube videos, a few more YouTube interviews and podcasts that he's done. So just thought that was interesting for anyone who wanted to learn a bit more about Graham.